what if I tell you that Ororon works in many teams rather than just electro-charged? Well, I'm telling you that right now. So, to get there, we're gonna have to look at the specific wordings of his passive ability. Then, I'm gonna show you all the different team options he can play in. Electro-charged? Duh. Overload? Yes please. Quicken, aggravate, and spread? Yeah. This is the part that we care about the most for Ororon. Let me zoom into that. Zoom even more. Zoom! There we go, chat. You're welcome. Let's break this down. He has a passive. That's very important. Let me preface that. He's a passive. It's doing coordinated damage, similar to how Fischl is doing coordinated damage from off-field. But Ororon's passive has a specific condition. After a nearby party member triggers an Ignite Sword burst, Ororon will gain 40 Ignite Sword points within 15 seconds after using an elemental skill when attacks from other party members who are Hydro or Electro hit opponents. So when Hydro or Electro characters other than himself hitting an opponent, Ororon will gain 5 Ignite Sword points. Ororon can have a maximum of 80 Ignite Sword points. Let's deconstruct that real quick. That's a lot of text. He has a special mechanic that's a Ignite Sword points mechanic. He can gain those Ignite Sword points. 1. When someone triggers a Ignite Sword burst, that's a natlan specific thing. And 2. When a Hydro or Electro character in team other than himself is dealing damage to opponent. It doesn't have to be actually Hydro or Electro damage. It can be a normal attack from a Hydro or Electro teammate, right? Okay, and how can he use these points now that he has those points? When a nearby opponent takes electro-charged reaction damage or Ignite Sword aligned damage dealt by other nearby characters, Ororon will consume 10 Ignite Sword points, dealing Ignite Sword aligned damage based on damage once every 1.8 seconds. Let me rephrase this. When electro-charge is happening or when Ignite Sword aligned damage is being dealt by other party member. This does not specify that the Ignite Sword aligned damage must be dealt on field. It can be dealt from off-field. Now, the other party member clause prevents Ororon from just doing Ignite Sword damage himself and then triggering it again and then triggering it again. That's just it. So, at first glance, we're gonna think, this guy is an electro-charged character. Absolutely. He functions very well in a team with some Hydro, some Electro character, and triggering electro-charged damage. So, Hydro and Electro character other than him doing damage will refill his mana. Let's say that. His mana. And then he can expand his mana to do damage when electro-charge is happening on the field. Cool, good stuff. One perk of this guy is that he's not locked into a specific team like Chevres, like only Electro and Pyro in the team. He's a little bit more flexible than that. Cool, but it goes deeper than that. Well, it's not that deep. So what's going on is we do not exactly need electro-charge for the team to happen. What can also happen is that Ignite Sword aligned damage can be dealt, and then he's also expanding his mana to deal damage. He does not need this. This will also satisfy. Why is that important? I'm gonna use the tier list website, but we are not making a tier list. We are only dragging characters in to make a four-person team, something like this. It's obviously not this team. Where's my Fischl? Where's my goat of Electro or field? The basic Ororon team can look something like this. Hydro, Electro, also this. That can work. Cool. Where's my Kazuha? This can also work. Electro charge is happening. It works. He's getting mana by the Hydro character doing damage, and he's spending his mana by Electro charge happening in the field. Cool. That works. Something like this can also work. He's getting mana by Hydro character doing damage. He's losing mana because Electro charge happening on the field. What also happening on the field is overload and vapings happening in the field. That's fine. He still has his requirement. Cool. Now let's get into natlan character and all the intricacy that comes with Ororon. Let's say we have a natlan character. In this case, we're just gonna say Chaska. And let's say we're in this kind of team. This is obviously not the best possible Chaska team. We're gonna talk more about Chaska at a different time. But we're talking about Ororon theorycrafting around him and the teams that he can potentially work in. Wait a minute, there's no electro charge happening in his team. That's fine. He gains mana when a Hydro or Electro character other than himself hitting opponent. Fischl is giving him mana. He can spend his mana when Ignite Sword aligned damage is dealt by other character. Chaska is enabling Ororon to spend his mana to deal damage. There's no electro charge here. There's no Hydro here in the team. Not at all. In fact, this can also work. This can also work. Obviously, Bandit in here is weird just for the purpose of the example. I think this is a good place to demonstrate what Kachina's doing. Even when she's off field, her drill is still doing Ignite Sword aligned damage from off field. So this this team, what is happening is Fishshot, being an electro character, doing damage, is giving Ororon mana. And Kachina, even when she's off field, she's doing Night Soul aligned damage. Night Soul aligned damage dealt by other character. It doesn't specify on field or off field. But up until this point, we need kind of one is an electro hydro character and one natlan character that can be Night Soul to help him do his thing. One gives him mana and one allow him to spend mana. But what if we have an electro natlan character? What if we have an electro natlan character, chat? Hold on. Hi. Hello. It's like we already see her in game. We already see her vision in game. Wait a minute. Let's download this picture, Ian-san, and then upload it here. There we go, chat. Boom. Wait a minute. This looks like a complete team. Well, it's not a complete team. This looks like a team that can give Ororon everything he needs. When another electro character hits opponent, cool. She's hitting opponent. Well, it is remain to be seen whether she's an on-field character or off-field character. It will be a lot more versatile for Ororon if she's an off-field character. And she's dealing nice soul line damage. Wow. Now with this core in mind, with this core, we can do this. We can do this. We can do this. And what's the benefit of this team? The benefit of this team is that Ororon is doing decent damage as well as buffing everyone in the team because he's simply holding the natlan support set. We can do this. Wait, is that the like, comment, and subscribe button? Yeah, do that. He can do this. Now, of course, we created the hype train, but then we also have to make a caveat. This all hinge on Ian-san. This team would not function as well if Ian-san is a character that requires field time. If Ian-san is an on-field character, then we'll just have to throw support on here. But this can also work. This is still a team that utilizes Dendro. This is still a team that utilizes Chevres. This could be a Ian-san on-field, Ian-san on-field. But wait, there's more. There's more. Wait a minute. What is he cooking, chat? What is he cooking? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Well, she's not working as well, but she's quite likely going to be a strong meta character. Mahuika, our beloved Pyro Archon. Well, if she's not dying and then she's actually becoming a playable character, that we will see. She's a natlan character. She has Night Soul mechanic. She deals Night Soul damage, quite likely from off-field. So all other that is required from this team is either an Electro or a Hydro character. And Ororon is absolutely functioning, doing decent damage while buffing the whole team. This can be an on-field Electro carry. This can work. This can work. This can work, as we've just seen before. Sino update. Now, what would also work is a Hydro natlan character that does not have a particular gimmick themselves. Mualani could be one that enabled Ororon, but Mualani doesn't want to play in a team with Electro. So this is not working as well. But any future Hydro natlan character is easily can be slotted in to play with Ororon. Even if electro-charged happen to not be happening very often, the natlan's character is still dealing nice soul line damage, and them being Hydro specifically gives Ororon mana. Dealing a nice soul line damage allows him to spend his mana. Oh, you know what's the most exciting part I find about this? We can actually try this meme team. Hold on, chat. Fishshot is giving Ororon mana, and Kinich is allowing Ororon to spend his mana. Kinich! Quicken team, hello? But all in all, I find Ororon exciting for Dendro because this can happen. Technically, this can also happen, but it's not working as well because Ororon is gonna dueling some inconsistent Hyper Bloom. Ideally, we prefer a Koki Shinobu in this kind of team so she can do good Hyper Bloom damage. Ororon doesn't have very good uptime, and then his burst is like sweeping all around the area on the ground, so it's interfering with the Hyper Bloom process. So a Hydro Dendro team with Ororon is not functioning as well. But this Quicken team with Ororon and a natlan character in it is functioning extremely well. And the reason I find this exciting is because there is currently none Dendro damage bonus buffer. This is on-fielder. He's buffing Hyper Bloom or Bloom damage. She's not buffing. He's not buffing. She's buffing Elemental Mastery. He's not buffing. He's buffing Elemental Mastery. Elemental Mastery. No. Some damage bonus. 12 damage bonus to be exact. Elemental Mastery. And Ororon has created himself a niche that he can play in a Quicken team while offering damage bonus. Damage bonus is actually big for Quicken and Aggravate and Spread in general because the reaction is doing additional damage and it can benefit from both damage bonus and crit. That's why our item likes to play with Furina. In a team like this. Even though Furina being Hydro is messing up some of the quicken uptime because Hydro rinses away some of the quicken and then our item can do a little bit less spread damage. Our item still likes to play Furina. She gives a shit ton of damage bonus. So what if we have a character that does not mess with quicken uptime as a damage bonus character? We do have that. Let me be just like covering all the bases, and I'm gonna say that none of the electro characters that likes to play in a quicken team offer a team-wide damage buff. No buff, no buff, no buff, no... Well, she's offering burst damage buff. Not beneficial for this team in a major way. No buff, no buff. Energy recharge buff. Damage, damage. Defense threat, no buff. Attack buff. Crit damage buff, no buff. Ororon has crafted a niche for himself there, and a niche that he can function well in. As going back to one of the questions I see in chat earlier, I think it's from Daniel. People may see him as an off-field electro character and people may compare him to Fischl, but I don't think that is a good comparison. Fischl is offering a lot of personal damage, but no buff. Ororon is offering decent personal damage when he's in a team that meets his condition, but he's also offering damage bonus to the whole team. And sometimes that is more beneficial to offering personal damage. Maybe because the DPS of the team is doing a shit ton more damage than himself. For example, in this team, Ororon is obviously more beneficial than Fischl here, because in here Fischl is only offering her personal damage. She's not buffing anyone, but Ororon in this team would be buffing both Neuvillette and Furina. So all in all, what am I saying with all of this? What I'm saying is twofold. First, Ororon is an interesting character with his niche, but he's performing well in his niche. That's good for a 4-star character. He is not depending on his constellation because most of his power is unlocked by him being a natlan character and can use the natlan set. His constellation only increases personal damage, which is still decent. So more constellation is cool, but if you just plan to use him to support a very good DPS, he's fine in Cecil. And this is absolutely future impacting. This is trying to predict the future. It's not something that should heavily sway our opinion when pulling for a character, but it is still one of the factors that can affect our decision. So if you are a player who likes to experiment with weird things, just mess around and try to be creative with team making. And also, if you are a player that does not want to be caught with their pants down, stick away. I think Ororon has the potential. He's not where Chevres is when she's first released yet, but he has the potential to be more. That's my piece. For me personally, I would try to get at least one copy of Ororon when he's around, even if I do or do not intend to get Cheska. For whether I want to get Cheska, I will play her story quests first to see if she resonates with me personally. Now, if you are curious about my opinion on Cheska, I do find her design cool, but I do find her story all over the place. This is the video that I've just released about Cheska story. Other than that, if anyone has any question about how Ororon is affecting the meta, I'm happy to answer it in the comments. And if you like the kind of content that I do, well, like, subscribe, and make sure you return often.